Do you remember sitting in class being educated about natural disasters? But what about tsunamis? Within our speech, we'll talk about what a tsunami is, what to do if you're caught in the event of a tsunami, the Pacific Ring of Fire, and we'll also discuss one of the most catastrophic tsunamis to hit the world. To begin, what is a tsunami, you may ask? A tsunami is a series of waves most commonly caused by earthquakes which takes place beneath the seafloor. The origin of the word tsunami means harbor, and nami is wave. Tsunamis can happen during any season, time, or weather conditions. Only about 80% of tsunamis happen in the Ring of Fire. The places in the United States that is at the greatest risk is Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, Alaska, and California. Usually beaches with bay entrances, tidal flats, and coastal rivers are the most vulnerable to tsunamis. They can originate under sea boundaries of the tectonic plates near the edges of the continents. There are two different types of tsunamis, distal and local. Distal occurs farther away and won't be reached for hours, giving everyone time for a warning and enough time to get to safety. While local is no warning and can strike within minutes. Oceanographers are using the Global Navigation Satellite System, or GNSS, and ground receivers to capture different types of measurements, including coastal or undersea earthquakes. Scientists are finding out they can't use the same research for the earthquakes due to the fact tsunamis are on a different scale. The oceanographers and researchers stated sometimes the smaller the earthquakes are, the bigger tsunamis. To understand a tsunami, one must look at the energy it releases in the ocean. The energy transfers throughout the ocean, producing waves that aren't noticeable until the waves reach land to create the giant wave of water into the land. These waves can go on for hundreds to thousands of miles. Tony Sung compared the GNSS analyzer to the tsunami records from each of the past earthquakes. Each one, he has found a match with the ground slip directions at the earthquake epicenter, and it is determined the direction of the waves. Then Tony Sung looked at the seafloor displacement data and the topography to generate a new tsunami scale measurement from 1 to 10, just like the scale used for earthquakes. The research was tested and turned out more accurate with the GNSS than trying to predict where and how powerful it was/is. The scale was tested in 2010 when a tsunami was activated and was recorded at a 4.8. In Chile, while Japan and Hawaii suffered a little bit due to being part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Next, Joy will discuss on how we would survive a tsunami.
Now that you know a little bit about tsunamis, you should also know what to do in case you are ever put in a situation with a tsunami. There are a few things you should do in different situations. In this first scenario, this is what you should do if you find yourself in a boat at the time you hear about the tsunami. It is your best option to travel out to sea, where the tsunami can simply pass under your boat. Make sure to face the waves. Do not allow your boat to float sideways against the waves, as you are more likely to capsize. Stay away from the coast until you hear otherwise from emergency officials. In the event of an earthquake and you are on land, find cover, drop to the ground, and cover your head with your arms until the earthquake subsides. Earthquakes can have secondary quakes, so be wary of that. It is very important to listen to emergency alerts, as they can warn you if a tsunami is coming. Make your way to the highest ground that is as far inland as possible, as there is a significantly better chance of survival. If you are in an area prone to tsunamis, do not wait until there is an official tsunami warning. Evacuate immediately. Try to avoid main roads and bridges, as these can become blocked or damaged. Have more than one plan in your mind, because if something goes wrong, fast thinking can save your life. If you plan on living or travel to an area susceptible to tsunamis, create an evacuation plan with your family. Having a plan ahead of time can make a massive difference in the event of a tsunami. If you didn't have time to evacuate inland and the tsunami is approaching quickly, your best bet is to climb up. Find a sturdy building and make your way to the top. As an absolute last resort, find a sturdy tree and climb it. Hopefully you never find yourself in this situation, but in case you do, these tips should help you survive a tsunami. Now, Kimberly will tell you where tsunamis come from.
Next, most tsunamis come from the Pacific Ocean. Almost 90% come from the Pacific Ocean's edges. This horseshoe-shaped area, which extends from the southern tip of South America up along the coast of North America to Eastern Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. This area is roughly 25,000 miles of 452 active and dormant volcanoes. This line of volcanoes fall close to the tectonic plates. The Pacific Ring of Fire is different today than it was 1,000 years ago because of the changes caused by tectonic plates. Tectonic plates are caused by the Earth's plates. They fit together like pieces of a puzzle. These plates are constantly moving above a layer of solid ground as well as molten rock. Sometimes these plates collide, separate, or slide next to each other. When this happens, it causes a giant wave to create, which is known as a tsunami. Close to 90% of earthquakes reported around the world also take place in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Add that the possibility of a volcano eruption, and that can make for a dangerous place to live. Now Alyssa will talk about the most catastrophic tsunami to hit our world.
Now that you've learned what tsunamis are and where they come from, I will tell you about one of the most devastating tsunamis in history. On December 26, 2004, the day after Christmas, a devastating tsunami formed in the Indian Ocean. A 9.1 magnitude earthquake struck under the sea off the coast of Sumatra. The sudden movement was equivalent to 23,000 atomic bombs dropped in Hiroshima. For 7 hours, ocean waves reached across the ocean, hitting dozens of countries. 4 giant waves crashed ashore Sumatra, reaching as high as 80 feet, and now some believe the waves reached as high as 100 feet. Generally, tsunamis are not common in the Indian Ocean, so there was no tsunami warning, and people in Sumatra only had about 10 minutes to react. Many people went down to the ocean because the water was receding so far back and they were curious as to what was happening. Because of their lack of knowledge and little to no warning, many people perished. On the coast of Indonesia alone, around 168,000 people were killed. Some parts of Sumatra were almost completely wiped off the map. In Tsunamis, an estimated 8,000 of their 18,000 citizens were killed. In Keelung, only about 30% of the town's people survived, leaving between 9,000 to 12,000 people. Mulabo had a population of 120,000 people, and about 40,000 people were killed. 7 hours later, the tsunami hit the coast of East Africa, where people still had no warning. As a result, about 230 to 260,000 people were killed in total. The earthquake was the third most powerful since 1900, and the tsunami was the deadliest in recorded history. In the event of a tsunami, there are many ways to help people suffering from one. One of the best ways to help is to donate to UNICEF. They go to the places affected by the tsunami and offer clean water, food, sanitation, immunizations, and help rebuild the community. In this speech, we have informed you on what exactly a tsunami is, what to do if you are in that situation, the common area where they hit, and also one of the most devastating tsunamis in history. Thank you for listening and have a great day.